Let's check out the 2023 Launch X431 Elite Pro. OBD2 and full diagnosis for your BMW with auto VIN. Let's check this out. Let's use the auto detect. This should go ahead and detect my VIN. Now you don't want the engine running, you just want the key on so all the instrument clusters are lit. And you can see right here, gonna select BMW, and there we go. Auto detected my VIN, which makes things super easy. Now we're gonna check out all the cool stuff that this Launch can do. This is a generic scan tool and also a very special scan tool that can do a lot of functions that normal scan tools cannot do. It's going to automatically scan all of the modules in your BMW, which is great because it gives you an idea of all the different things that could be going wrong. It also gives you this basic diagnosis report, which is a professional looking report that you can share and provide to your customers if you're a shop. Now this does give you lots of different faults. Some of these faults you have to take with a grain of salt because they can be in shadow memory. Like I have this telltale lamp for the front passenger airbag deactivation. I don't currently have a problem with that system. So this, at some point, there was some kind of an issue in the car, and so you have a software reset, it could have been battery voltage related. So all of these codes could be shadow memory where something happened at some point, but is not current. But you can see all the modules it can read. So the DME, which a lot of other companies call the ECM, electronic control module, we're going to call it the digital motor electronics for BMW. VTG is your transfer case. ABS, obviously anti-locking brakes. We normally call it the DSC control unit. Your airbag or MRS is SRS here. Instrument cluster, which we normally call a combi. The FBI. Wow, don't tell anyone the FBI is in here. Flexible bus interface. Now that's not normally a separate control unit, but that's kind of an interesting code. I'm not sure what that's going to be referring to in an E70. The footwell module gives me all these warning lights. The footwell module, so if you have any issues with body controls or lights. The CAS, EKPS is the fuel pump. The EGS is the transmission control. GWS is the shifter right here. That's your GWS. RDC control module, that's tire pressure, electronic parking brake, safety gateway module, telephone communication unit, rain light sensor, siren, FZD, which is the function roof center. That's that guy right there. CD, which I actually have a CIC in this car. You know, it lists all generically, CIC, CCC, BO, CHAMP, MASC. MASC was like 7 Series E65. That was a long time ago. Controller, seat module, CID, air conditioning, and CCCA applications. Now, it really does a full system scan, so you have an idea of what's going on, not only in the engine computer, but in the entire car. You would want one of these tools for all of the special service functions it can do. We're going to get into that in just a minute. Let's go ahead and clear all these codes. These codes are pretty much bogus codes anyways, so let's clear all this and see if we're left with any codes that are current. So when you clear codes, one thing that you want to do is review. Says there may still be a warning light on, so you do want to turn the ignition off for 10 seconds. That's just common practice. You're going to hit OK. And then everything's going to be nice and green on my list. But we're going to want to rescan after. So one thing to do is go ahead and restart the car. Extended crank. I think I need a high pressure fuel pump. I'll get to that one of these days. Start the car. You know, when you're chasing a check engine light, it's actually a good idea to start the car twice or do at least 2 drive cycles, because sometimes the check engine light will only come on the second start. So you want to watch out for that. All right, now that I've done 2 starts, I'm going to go ahead and just power the car on again. And then what I'd like to do is I'm going to end the diagnostic session because I want to do a full rescan again and rescan the car. Now, if I had an existing problem, I would have another fault show up and it would show up here. Gives you your full report, which I don't need to share right now. This is great. This is a touchscreen. This is awesome. So I'm just going to back out of this, or actually no. Let's just do a quick scroll, and I got a clean bill of health here for fault codes. So I don't have any trouble codes currently in my BMW E70. All right, so in this main page, you can see over here we have a little arrow right there. Let's hit that arrow, and we can go into the CAS unit. We can see the VIN number, we can see the part number of the CAS, we can see the coding index, the variant, hardware number, and the date that the module was created, 21/08/2010. This is a 2011 car, so that makes sense. Now we're into other module information. So the CAS. We can read fault codes right here. We can clear just that. We can read a data stream, or we can do an actuation test. Let's see what data stream does. So data stream, we can see we can see key, remote control battery status, remote control, terminals, inputs, hall sensors, and programming. This is crazy how much that you can delve in here. All right, okay, there's my full chassis number. That's stored in the CAS. So you can pull the information, say it's a used CAS, you could pull the information from the previous VIN. Let's go back. Internal hall sensors. Remote control engaged, overpress, the start-stop button. So on this BMW, there's hall sensors in this switch right here. So we can read the sensors. We can pull up the status requests of these. Remote control is active. Remote control engaged, active. Remote control overpress, not active. I can check to see if the start-stop button is pressed. Let's see if it's a live reading. Look at that, active. I'm pressing the button, and it actually reads as active. So these are live tests that you can do. Let's try to overpress. So I'm pressing down on the remote control, like it was stuck. It's showing active now on the screen, and then release it. Right there, it's active, and release it. I can press the start-stop button. You saw it was active. This is a great diagnostic tool. You can check all the status requests in all of these different components. There's so much to go over. This is absolutely amazing. So let's continue with the CAS. The CAS is really important because that's what controls starting of the car. So let's look at the inputs. Let's see what we can see. Brake light switch, that would be important. Central locking switch. This doesn't have a clutch, but we'll click it just to see what it does. Locking, status of the door contacts we can see. We can see if the hotel switch is on. Anti-theft, vehicle stationary. Let's just look at them all and see what we can see. So my brake light switch is off until I press on the brake. So it knows that I'm getting a brake signal. Central locking switch, which is up here. It knows if it's pressed or not pressed. Clutch switch shows depressed, but this is an automatic transmission, so I would just disregard that. Passenger compartment rear lid not operated, so it's actually, you can check the trunk through here. The hatch, you can check the hatch through here. Driver's door contact closed, so this is pretty interesting right here too. If you had an issue with a door lock, there we go, I just opened the door and now it reads open. This is a great way to check all the statuses in the car for multiple things. Vehicle stationary. So that's really good information right here. It's really great information when diagnosing your car. All right, terminals, let's see what we can see. So terminal 50 is start, terminal 15 wake up, or PT can wake up, terminal 30, 30L, 50E, and R is accessory. Right now I'm only an accessory. So current value here. Now some of these statuses, oh, I might have my key off again. Let's turn my key on. There we go. So I had the key off. There we go. Now we can see my current voltage in the car, which is 11.57. So I've been sitting here for a bit. Here's my current 50L. Let's see what happens when I start the car. You could see the amperage rating on the 50L. That's the start amperage. Right, let's do that again. Here we go. It actually was a little bit less after the first start. So you can actually look at the amperage. We can see the terminal 15 wake-up signals, 30G relay, 30L, 50E, and terminal R. Now that the engine's running, obviously my alternator's on. And you can record this information, and it's kind of interesting too, they do let you graph it as well, I believe. Yep, and the graphing, you can see that first start that I did pulled a little bit more amperage than my second start. So you can actually look for any discrepancies in the data stream. Let's see, we can see remote control. So we can actually read out what number key this is. We can see what the strength is. So this is actually remote control 2. So you can know which one is remote control 1 or 2, personalization number, and your field strength. Key, let's see what we can see. Key in ignition and mechanical key code. That's pretty interesting. I have no idea what that means right there, but that mechanical key code probably means something to somebody out there, so don't come and steal my car. Key in ignition just reads as number 2. And you can check your battery in your key, which says okay. It doesn't give you a value, but on a BMW of this style, this is not comfort access, so the battery in here is rechargeable. And you know what? It charges while it's in the socket while you're driving. All right, let's see what an actuation test here is. We got general. We can reset the remote. We can delete the electronic steering lock. Now that's important. Now this car doesn't have an electronic steering lock, but on an E90, you can sometimes get a steering symbol up in the instrument cluster, and that is an ELV, electronic steering lock, that is built into your steering column, and sometimes your car will not start. But the trick is, if you have a scan tool that can delete the counter, you can actually, if you activate that, you can then reset it, and sometimes the vehicle will start for you. All right, I'm kind of curious what is in the engine control module as individual. All right, we can identify the VIN, the part number, coding index, variant number, hardware, and date. We'll continue. That module information is just that same information we just saw. We can specifically read faults directly out of the individual module. You can clear the faults in the individual module. The data stream. So this is all the great stuff you can see in the engine computer. You can look at charging. So we can look at the charge air temp, the intake manifold pressure, intake pipe, vacuum before and after. So there we go. We can now see what those values are. We can see what those values are for your charge air temp, your intake manifold pressure, the intake pipe vacuum before, and the intake upstream of the throttle valve. So intake manifold pressure after throttle valve, right? We're reading at 946, when atmospheric pressure is usually 1 bar or 1,000 hectopascals. So you would think, right, there's a little bit of vacuum there, so we're seeing the 946. When I blip the throttle, that should go closer to atmospheric pressure. You see that? It went up to 1 bar. That is basically atmospheric pressure. So that would be a great test you can do to check those sensors. All right, so fuel pressure, we can see rail pressure only with the engine running and rail pressure nominal value only when the engine is running. So it's going to give you nominal value, which is the value it wants, and it's going to give you the value, the current value. So 5.4 MPa, which is like 5 bar, I believe, over 5 bar. So you want to check your sensor, you can do the same thing. So if I step on the accelerator pedal, the request is going to go up for more fuel, and actually we can see that that sensor is reading correctly. This launch opens up your diagnosis possibilities. So if we go under general, we can see the tank vent valve. That's for the evap system, electric fan, and electric coolant pump. So on this, if your engine was off, you can actually activate your electric coolant pump for 20 seconds for a test to see if your issue is your electric coolant pump with this scan tool. You can do so much with this. It is unbelievable. You can test your electric fan, and you can activate the tank vent valve for 20 seconds. So I might do that just to show you guys. So right here is the tank vent valve right on the side, and that burns off the unburned hydrocarbons from the charcoal canister. When refueling, those hydrocarbons are captured in your charcoal canister and get burned off in the engine. Now, I hear it ticking because the engine's at idle. A lot of times it's going to burn off at idle. I'm going to shut the engine off and let's activate that and see if we can hear it clicking. All right, we get 20 seconds. And there we go. You can hear it activating. And that is an active test of the tank vent valve. That would be checking power and ground and if it sounds correct, because sometimes they will sound incorrect and then you'll know it's faulty. What a great test. Having these service functions really unlocks all the potential you need to really diagnose your car. Advanced diagnosis with the Launch scanner.